good evening. That's rare, that is, isn't it? It's usually morning or afternoon, but no, evening. Now, we have a slight problem. This morning, when I got in the car, the Maestro, to go to work, she no starty. Windy key, nothing. I hadn't got time to investigate anything, other than I knew there was an immobiliser on the car. First thoughts were, immobiliser's not working. It made no attempt to fire at all, just winding over. So yeah, all day head racing. Was it the immobiliser? As the cam belt snapped? All these things, fuel pump gone, etc, etc. But it's a strange one. You pull up outside your house of a night time, car's running perfectly. You go to it in the morning, no attempt to start. It's always a weird one. Anyway, I've got home from work, rushed my tea, threw some dirty clothes on, and now is the time to try and get this thing running. We'll see how we get on. I've got a few ideas what I think it could be. It could be, like I say, the immobiliser. I've now found out by talking to the ex-owner that the immobiliser is just a cut off on the starter, so it's not going to be that. Obviously, there's electrical things I can test on the injection pump to see if it's getting a voltage to the pump. And then with these old school diesels, I think it's going to be more likely a fuel issue. As I say, we changed the fuel filter on the last video you saw. Although I've done 100 odd miles since then and we've had no issues, so I don't know why the fuel would leak back, but another test will be just crack an injector, see if I'm getting fuel. So yeah, I best get on with that because it's 6 o'clock now, and although we've got a couple hours light, 10 hours at work all day and then coming home to this is not my favourite game. Catch you later. Right, then. So obviously one of my first thoughts was going to be that the cam belt had snapped, because it was winding over just with no hint of it starting at all this morning. It was just as if there was no compression or nothing. Luckily there's an inspection cover, cam belt's intact, so that's one good thing. Okay, I've got a voltmeter on the pump solenoid. Basically what happens there is it's an electric solenoid with a plunger in. When it's energized, it pulls the plunger out and lets the fuel through. There's also another one down here. I don't know which one I'm on at the minute. I'm guessing it's that one, but there's another one there. I'll try this first if I get 12 volts. Right, with the ignition on, I've got a voltage on that one. So what happens with these old diesels is there's a fuel solenoid, shut-off solenoid here. And it basically, it's a plunger, for want of a better word. You can't see it. It's a plunger, and it drops into a hole and cuts the fuel off. And then when you turn the ignition on, it energizes, pulls the plunger up, and lets the fuel through. I've known these before fail in the shut position, either because the wires broke or the fuse has gone or whatever. But as I say, we've checked 12 volts on that, and it's got 12 volts when the ignition's on, so the plunger's pulling up. There's another one down here. I don't quite know what the other one does, but they're both energizing at 12 volts anyway, so all is good with that. My guess is going to be crack an injector and see if we've got fuel coming through, which will then let me know that the pump is lifting. I'm guessing on these, you know, I haven't had one of these Perkins for yonks, and they're similar to stuff I've had in Land Rovers in the past. I'm guessing there's a low pressure pump in or around the tank area that lifts it from the tank to the fuel filter, which is here, we know from the other day when I changed it. And then once it's got fuel up, the injection pump takes over, if you like, once it's running. My initial guess is going to be it's a fuel issue now that the cam belt is good. I'd imagine what's happened is we changed the fuel filter the other day, and even though it's ran well, for some reason overnight it pulled in air and completely drained the fuel filter back. Yeah, stranger things have happened, but I'm just pleased the cam belt hasn't gone, to be honest. The thing with these old style diesel engines, which is good, you can crack an injector and see if you've got fuel. Just spin that off. If fuel's coming through, you're in the pound seats, because it's got to go then. With a new modern diesel engine, you don't want to be messing with any of this high pressure stuff on a, you know, common rail, whatever they call them these days. I'm old school, so if I've got fuel coming through there, when I crack it and turn it over, it's going to go. It's just basically airlocked. I'm just going to crack an injector and spin it over and see if I've got some fuel. Yeah, just just spin the key. Go on, keep spinning. Okay. Yeah, so the immobiliser is basically, there's a little light flashes there that tells you it's on. There's a switch hidden somewhere in the car, and you flick it, and all it does, it cuts off the starter solenoid basically. So when you turn the key, you get nothing. Okay. What I thought originally this morning was it a two-stage and it was cutting off the fuel pump as well, but we've now found that not to be the case because we've tested and found 12 volts at the pump. And then now we've actually got it started, I can show you what happens. So you flick the switch and the light doesn't flash. Check this out here. You then turn the key, and even though the light was flashing while we were turning it, it starts. So obviously this morning when it wasn't starting, I was seeing that light flashing and thinking, oh, maybe it's a two-stage. We know it isn't now. For future reference, it is basically airlocked. It's sucked in air overnight. So at least in the morning, if it doesn't start, I can now just crack an injector and then look at this again over the weekend. I'll best just go a little test drive, even though it's running. Under load it might, sorry, I'm burping like mad because I ate my tea like a real big pig just so I could get out here as soon as I'd ate it. So yeah, I'm going to go for a test drive now just to see if under load it isn't, you know, pulling air or something and then conks out. Normally I'd live life on the edge and not take any spanners with me, but maybe it's wise I should start bringing them. Right, let's go round the block. I'm nearly crashing into the neighbours. By the way, I should say, after changing all the filters and stuff the other day, it made absolutely dog all difference to the smoking when you're driving along. So was it a waste of money? Well, no, not really, because it's always nice to have new filters and stuff, but quite annoying. And like I say, all I've done is found another problem by messing with the fuel filter, really, because I don't imagine it's going to fix itself and not do it again. The difference being is now at least I know what it is, and I'm very thankful that it's not the cam belt. This is just inane waffle now, while I just go up to the top of the road and back. Oh God. I keep burping, I do apologise. I'm not that brave, I won't pull out on this Vox or something. Yeah, I wind the window. I'm quite pleased that it was an easy fix, but I'm also quite annoyed that it wasn't something like a broken wire or whatever, because when you fix something, alright, I fixed it because it was airlocked and I've got the air out, blah blah blah, but I don't like them type of fixes because it's just going to happen again. If it was a wire that had broken or a fuse that had gone and you fix it, you're done, aren't you? So this is going to be one of them annoying things where it's going to happen again. I had a Ford Escort diesel once, very early 90s I guess, maybe even 80s, and I snapped a glow plug off into the head and wasn't going to get the head, you know, wasn't going to get it done. So I drove it for ages on 3 glow plugs, and it used to really take ages to start. I don't know why I'm telling you that, it's got nothing to do with this, but I'm rambling, also talking nonsense. It's been a very busy day at work, and I really don't like messing around with cars when I've been to work, which is why you'd have to ask yourself, why did I have 2 old cars? Anyway, this is a 60 zone, so ignore the engine noise. I'm now going 60, best put it in 4th. You just want to make sure the car's under load. And obviously, yes officer, I'm still going 60. Of course you are, Rick, of course you are. Yeah, we're in 5th now, going up quite a steep hill, which is what I wanted to do, to load it up. There's no hesitation or anything, so it's going to be one of those. In the morning it'll either start or it won't start, but at least I'm going to take the Allegro to work, which is what I would have had to do if this hadn't started tonight, because I borrowed the missus's car this morning and I can't borrow it tomorrow. So, not that I don't think the Allegro will make it to work, it will obviously, it's just I don't want to go to work in the Allegro, really. This is, you know, this is my hack about. But yeah, all seems good. I was just looking at a Volvo behind, 52 plate Volvo. I quite like old Volvos. Maybe that could be the next car. Who knows? Never had a Volvo. They're boxy, but they're good, apparently. Said the film with Dudley Moore, answers on a postcard, please. No, I think it was called Strange People. Something like that. Vaguely remember watching it. Christ, I'm rambling. I watch too many Hubnut videos. I do apologise. Or maybe I shouldn't apologise if you like Hubnut videos. I do. But he does. He's king of the waffle, isn't he? He's a very nice chap on the internet to watch and stuff. I presume he's a nice guy in real life. Maybe one day I'll meet him. Who knows? Anyway, I am rambling. I shall go now and catch you on another video. Goodbye. Oh, and so I don't have to type it on the screen, please like and subscribe my videos. Apparently YouTube does like things like that. Algorithms, blah blah blah. So I've heard. Goodbye.